Okay, so you're talking about how breakfast isn't really your thing and it's just another meal. You're doing maybe just a couple meals a day and, but you do have the egg cooker from Pampered Chef.
Yeah.
And you can also use that to heat up your oatmeals. And what I have done from time to time is the overnight oatmeal.
Now that's
And
a possibility. I could do that. I would do
yeah,
that.
so you take your oats and everything and I prepare them ahead of time. And then I don't actually use that, but I know many people who do, that they'll put it in that container and then put that in the microwave to heat it up. So have you ever done that? The overnight oats?
No, I've only used the egg cooker for eggs, and I've never done overnight oats, but I have oats here and grand plans to do that and never do.
Okay. Well, do you want to join me while we do this?
Sure, sure.
Okay. Do you have, are you in a place that you can do that?
Not really. I don't know where everything is. It would take me a while to sort it all out.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna rearrange a few things here. This glass full. What I like to have these shows be about is being prepared, finding recipes that maybe even just chopping up the vegetables or something ahead of time, anything to be prepared. Any dish can be for any meal. Because I do stir fries and soups sometimes for breakfast. So anyway, so I'm grab my oats. So I have an organic farm near me, and I usually try to buy bigger containers of them. I used to buy the 50-pound sacks. I don't do that as much anymore because I don't need to. Anyway, so we do a lot of oatmeal around here right now, whether it's just plain oatmeal. I make oatmeal pancakes, that type of thing. And
that's a good cold weather thing. Yeah.
It's a good cold weather thing, but it's just inexpensive and it fills you up, it sticks to your ribs, that type of thing. But it's, it's got good nutrition. So, it's got the good fiber and.
Yeah, it's been in the 80s here all week. And so that didn't even sound appealing.
Oh, the oatmeal? Well, you don't have to heat it up either. That's the really fun thing here. And it's warm.
Have it cold.
It's 4 below right now. And it's actually warmed up. It was about 20 below earlier, just a couple hours ago. So I know people who, well, you were in Tennessee. It got a little chilly there.
Never that chilly.
Never that chilly.
If it made it down to 0, it was a major event.
Oh yeah. Well, I've been hearing from people in Texas that it's a good thing Green Marie's in Costa Rica. That's all I have to say. 20s. That's very rare for them as well.
Yeah.
They've gotten down to the 30s and 40s, but to get this cold in the 20s, not a fun thing. So I've got about a cup and a half here. Yeah, it's cold, and I don't know if you can see. Can you see my breath? I don't know.
I did.
It's cold. So I've got a cup and a half of oats. Sorry, I started actually putting things away. I went, well, okay, no one's here. I might as well just start doing my other stuff.
Yeah. You don't have to do it for me, but
No, there may be somebody who this is what they want to know about. I also understand, it's Valentine's weekend. It's,
yeah.
people have things to do.
So what kind of oats do you use?
These are just organic, gluten-free, whole rolled oats. I have
Whole
used
rolled
this
oats,
recipe.
okay.
Yep, I have used this in doing oat groats before,
Yeah.
but since I know my grandchildren will be eating some of this, they're not as keen on oat groats.
Okay.
So I'll get, because they're chewier, and you really do need to soak them. We did a little experiment because I was showing them how when you look at an oat, there's that middle line, and that's kind of where they press it out from. So that shows them where the oat groat comes from. Anyway. All right, so I'm going to put in a teaspoon of flax seeds.
Yeah.
I heard that. What does that mean?
Yeah. I could take or leave flaxseed.
Well, they're good for your omega-3 essential fatty acids. They're good mucilaginous for your digestion. And since we're going to be soaking this overnight, that really makes them more gelatinous, so it's easier for that to work through.
Yeah.
And so now this is the magic ingredient that makes everything all nice and creamy. This is what differentiates it from other overnight oats. And that's why it's called Zoats, because it's zucchini oats. And so
you were talking about gelatinous, to go back to that.
Yeah.
You had hemp seed, what's the other one that, chia?
chia
That makes
seed.
the gelatin. Didn't your recipe call for chia as well?
Yep, exactly. Well, that was with the
What was the other recipe?
that was with the bars. Yep.
Ah,
The one thing, if you don't soak your chia seeds or any of these seeds, quite frankly, just make sure you drink a lot of water, because otherwise it will dehydrate you, especially in your intestinal area. So I'm going to grate these. If I was doing a lot of them, I would get out my food processor, but it's just the one. Oh, well, it's not a grate, it's a shred.
yeah.
And, you can do as much or as little of this as you want. If you're not going to use it all, it freezes really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I learned from Karen Osborne too, so many ways to use zucchini because it really makes things creamy. She uses it in her cheesecakes. So she might use some nuts, but she'll also use this. So.
I think Rita Marie made an ice cream once that included.
Oh yes,
zucchini.
Exactly. Same principle. It was like the light bulb went off and we're like, oh yeah. The world opened up with possibilities.
Hmm.
Now I'm gonna use cocoa or cacao, whichever you want to call it, in this recipe because the grandkids like that. You do not
yeah.
have to. You do not have to if you don't want to.
I probably wouldn't.
Would you?
Would not.
You would not? Okay. Are you not a chocolate fan?
You know, I prefer vanilla ice cream over chocolate, and
Oh,
the taste of a lot of things over just adding chocolate to them.
okay.
I mean,
Well, you
chocolate's
could definitely.
fine on its own, but no.
Okay. Well, and again, you can definitely add in some vanilla flavoring or some vanilla powder or
Or even just taste what the oats and the zucchini are like on their own.
that's very true. That's very true. When you start doing this, and I'll show my bowl here in a second, it's like, wow, that's a lot of zucchini. But remember, oats will swell. So you can see that a lot of zucchini.
Yeah, it's going to suck all the moisture out of the zucchini.
Which is what we want.
Yep.
You know? All right, so I'm gonna get some I have different forms of chocolate because I like chocolate.
I like chocolate too, but
I'm gonna put a couple of tablespoons of this in there. So are you starting any gardening again, or if it's that warm there?
It's supposed to cool off a bit this next week. Not be
No,
quite
that's cool.
warm.
I'd like to know what does cool off for you.
70-ish instead of 80s pushing 90.
Wow. That's
So yeah, we had a lot of days a few weeks ago where it was, you know, like the high was 60.
well for you. I can imagine
That's serious winter here.
yeah. That people were really bundling up then, huh?
Probably. My first introduction to Southern California, I came out here for a job interview. And the day I was supposed to fly home, in the morning, I walked down to the beach and I'm rolling up my shirt sleeves. I passed a guy who's all huddled over in a down jacket against the cold. And I thought, what's wrong with you? And
wow.
And so I enjoyed my walk in the, you know, coolish air. And got back to Knoxville that night, and it was 20 degrees and snowing. And I went, you know, I really love Southern California.
I bet at that point, definitely.
Yes.
Let's see. So I have the oats, flax seeds, zucchini, cocoa powder, and cinnamon all mixed up in here. And I just, well, I'm gonna actually mix it in now. Yeah, this
Mhm.
morning when I went to go to the, out to the car to go to the grocery store, I'm like, why am I here? Why am I here?
Goodness.
Yep, that is correct.
So do you have to add more moisture to that? I mean, I don't
Yep, so
remember.
then I'm gonna put in some almond milk.
Yeah, I don't have the recipe at hand, so I didn't remember.
That's okay. Not a problem. That is what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm putting in a couple of cups of almond milk.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm gonna stir it up again. And then, I mentioned in the thing to divide it up into containers. I may do that, mix it in with, I use mason jars, or I
Mhm.
just may leave it like this and let it soak. And then the kids get to decide for themselves how they want to do it. The kids, my husband,
Mhm.
part and parcel.
So are you keeping grandkids more these days or what?
Yeah, they're basically living here right now. So some adjustments going on. So you can see that you don't see as much of the zucchini. It's all mixed in and
Oh, yeah.
it's really swelling up and all of that. If you're not going, if you don't want to put it into different containers, you can just keep it in the one big one and parcel it out as you want. It's a nice healthy snack. You can add seasonal fruit to it if you want to. You can actually add other vegetables if you want to. I mean, especially if you don't use chocolate. It's just a basic thing that you can do
Yeah.
there.
Slice up some apples or put some blueberries on it. Or, yeah. I think
Whatever,
fruit's a vegetable.
right. I've heard some people will put avocados on there. If you want to have a hard boiled egg with it, you can do that. There's just all sorts of different things that you can do with this. Some people put figs in it. They'll slice up fresh figs. I have a dickens of a time finding fresh figs around here, so probably won't happen. But so our season would be the apples, maybe pears, things like that. So yeah, you can do whatever you want to there. I'm just gonna put this over here now. So I'm trying to think, what other things would you have for your first meal?
Lately it's been either sandwich or I've done eggs in my little egg cooker.
Okay.
Scramble them up and
put it in there. I'm going to get it out so people know what it is we're talking about.
Yeah, it's handy, but you can use other things to cook eggs in the microwave. It's really not hard to cook eggs in the microwave.
I mean, I don't sell Pampered Chef anymore, but it's still something nice. If you want to, you could also put this in like some boiling water, just up to about here, and that can steam things because it has a little hole here.
Yeah.
So this is a really nice little contraption.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Well, I'm glad. Um,
The only thing is, it's hard to, you pull the stuff out of it. And then, there's coating, there's stuff on the sides where it needs cleaning, because it's
Right.
been used. But I don't want to put it under water yet because it's
Still
hot.
hot. Yeah, yeah. I wonder if you took something and coated it so that it doesn't stick as much. You can
Maybe
actually,
give it a little bit of butter or spray or something.
butter might work. Lecithin, actually, you can buy liquid lecithin in a spray, and that actually can work.
I didn't know there was such a thing as liquid lecithin.
Yeah, you can buy it as a spray, and at least they used to. I haven't bought it for a while. It's been about 3 or 4 years, but
yeah. Well, I just end up running the water as hot as I can and putting some water in it and
letting
leaving
it soak.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good option too.
So either scrambled eggs or poached eggs or whatever. And I've got shredded cheese and bacon, bits of bacon in the fridge. So sometimes I'll put a little bit of those things in it, depending on how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Or maybe add a little milk to give it a little more bulk.
Looking at some of my other recipes that I have.
Well, make your bars if you want to, that's what you advertised.
Well, he's here. Last Saturday, I did a Facebook post with a fajita omelet. I don't know if you saw that.
I don't recall seeing that, but that's something I've considered making a lot of. I've got onions and peppers in the fridge that were intended to be made for fajitas, and I just haven't gotten the fajitas made. But then the plan is to make a whole bunch of those, a couple or 3 peppers and all the onions I can manage, and then have it for regular fajitas. But a fajita omelet sounds pretty darn good too.
Right. Yeah. So you have your peppers, your onions, things like that. You get them all stir fried up. And I'm just
I was just going to put it in the oven, do a tray bake kind of thing, roast them all, have to deal with it.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever you do to get them a little softer. You can add seasoning mix, like a taco seasoning to it.
I've got Pinsy's seasoning, fajita seasoning. I got taco seasoning too, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm set.
Right. And so then you cook up your eggs, you put that in your skillet. When you do an omelet, you just kind of lift up the edges and stuff like that.
Mine never ends up being an omelet, it ends up being scrambled eggs.
Scrambled eggs. Well, okay, there you go. You can do that too.
Yeah, that I never can seem to get it.
That's okay. It's all good. It tastes good, right? That's what counts.
Tastes just the same.
You can put in, if you want to put cheese in, you can. But some cilantro, some avocado on top of it.
That sounds wonderful, yeah.
So that would be something good. Now, when you talk about having a sandwich, what kind of bread are you using?
I'm using a whole wheat bread. It's Sara Lee's white whole wheat. So it looks like a white bread, which is what I grew up with, what I'm used to, what I like best.
Okay.
But it's the whole wheat.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Which you know, it's still a gluten bread. And, you know, if you can find like an Ezekiel bread, or there's some good breads out there that,
All those breads with the nuts and the seeds and stuff in them are just do not thrill me.
okay. I think it's Julian's Bakery has, let's see. That has some breads that you can actually buy.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard of Julian's Bakery, so that's
Yeah. They have they have a lot of like protein powders and things like that. Let's see. Ba-da-ba-dum. Do you prefer a soft or a crunchy bread?
soft.
Okay.
I grew up with soft.
Yeah, Julian Bakery has, it's called a paleo thin bread. It's gluten-free, grain-free, low carb. I'll put the link to that in here.
Cool.
That you can get that, you know, you can, this is a 3-pack, so you could ostensibly freeze some of it, or just find some that isn't a 3-pack. And I don't know, maybe your grocery store around you might have something like that. Oh, there's Rose.
Well, if nothing else, if Amazon has it, Whole Foods probably has it.
Right. Yeah,
So,
they don't around here. Yeah.
Yeah, or there's a local kind of health food chain here called Mother's Market.
Okay.
That would
Oh, I
probably-
went there when I was,
Yeah.
I took this raw food cooking class with this guy, Lou Corona. And that's where we went to get our stuff.
Raw Foods class, Corona. I think I met him.
Lou Corona, yeah.
I think I met him. Didn't he used to have his own nutritional products company?
He still does, actually. I think his nephew or something runs it. It's called Puradyme. And
Yeah, that wasn't the name before, but
okay, well, no, that's the only one. He did also, Natural Choice Products is one he promoted.
that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Rose.
I actually went. Oh, sorry. Hi, Rose.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How about you?
Doing well. We're let's see, here it is. We're just kind of chatting. This is the one thing I've made. It's the overnight oats, and it's made with shredded zucchini.
Yum.
So I was telling Judy that my grandkids are staying with me right now. And so thinking of things to fix them for breakfast was kind of one of the things I was looking at doing. And so now that I've got this already, then we can heat that up, and the zucchini makes it really creamy.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I'm going to be right back. I'll gotta.
Okay. So one of the things we were discussing is, do people eat breakfast right now? And so that's my question to you. Do you eat breakfast?
It's probably about half and half, because some days I try to see if I can shorten my eating window. So I'll try to make it to like 14 or 16 hours. So
Okay. And how is that working for you?
okay.
Okay, and that's what really counts. I know for myself, if I don't eat breakfast, my metabolism gets a little sluggish. So eating breakfast for me is good for my metabolism. And it is, you can get some good protein in there as well. So like oats is a good source of protein, even though people associate it with carbs. And there is still protein in there. And you can add a protein powder in with that. I put some cocoa in there because it's my grandkids, right?
Yeah.
They might like that. So that's
I link my breakfast to at breakfast time, like when you get up to, I'm finding it depends on how my sleep was the night before.
yeah.
I seem hungry on those mornings that I was up a lot during the night. So then I don't try to extend my window, because if I wait too long, then I'll be tempted to, look for a
Right.
whole bunch of stuff to eat while I'm trying to fix something decent, and I don't want to do that.
Well, and so something like this might be good for you because
It
I
would be
heat it up
made
because it's
already.
cold. It's all made already. And all you have to do is heat it up. If you want it warm, you don't have to even heat it up. You can eat it cold or room temperature. It's just cold here. And so I'm going to, we heat it up. Yeah, you can, so while I have it in a bowl, you can put it like in mason jars. And so you can have a bunch of different mason jars made up, and you can just have, so like I said, I put the cacao in there, but you can just have it plain without any flavoring. And then you can tailor it as you go. You can put fresh fruit in there. You can, so I put flax seeds in there. Maybe you want to add some hemp seeds to it. You know, you can do just about anything. You can put some vanilla in there.
Is one better than the other because I have chia, flax, and hemp? Or do you just pick one, or is it okay to mix them all?
Either one is fine. Hemp does not need any soaking. Flax works better if it has had a little soaking. So being in here, and then I put some milk in there, some almond milk. And so that will allow it to soak. That's the only thing between the flax and the chia. You want to make sure that if you use the chia, that you put enough liquid in there. You might want to put extra liquid in there because that chia really soaks up liquid.
Okay, so you're looking to make the seeds into a gel then?
No, it's gonna be more like a thickener. It's gonna be more like a thickener.
Okay.
And so when you heat it up, you want to be a little careful so that you don't overcook it, basically. You just really just want to heat it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I store a lot in jars. A couple years ago, I got rid of all the plastic,
Yeah.
And I started replacing it like with glass dishes, and it was too expensive. You'd get like 2 dishes and a lid, and it'd be like $35. And I'm like, forget that. I can buy candy jars a whole bunch cheaper, so.
That's, yep. Yeah, those Pyrex can add up. But
I store my leftovers. I store my leftovers in the canning jars, and I freeze my food in canning jars, and it takes up a whole lot less space too in your refrigerator.
Oh, the canning jars?
Yeah, to stick a canning jar in there versus the other dishes, because I have just
oh yeah.
I have a very small spot for the refrigerator, so I didn't get to go out and get one of those nice 36-inch refrigerator, so I just am using the canning jars.
Sure. Yeah, you do what you can. I don't have a chest freezer or anything. I wish I did, but
Get it upright if you get one.
oh, really?
Yep. I used to have a chest one and I found it really hard to reach the things on the
Oh,
bottom.
I suppose.
You almost got to stand on your head, to try to get down there for, what's at the bottom. And then the things that are at the bottom, tend to stay in there too long because they're not convenient to reach. So
Yep.
if you get a freezer, get an upright one because
That makes
it's so
sense.
easy.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, duly noted. I will remember that. Yeah. And then I'll just have to figure out where to put it. Yeah.
Mine is in the garage. But my
Oh,
garage,
your chest freezer or your
my upright, yeah. It's my garage is drywalled and insulated.
Oh, nice.
So it stays a lot warmer in there than
Now, are you in Ohio?
I'm in Michigan, northern
Michigan.
Michigan.
Okay, so that's the only reason I would hesitate is that it can get cold, but if it's insulated and it doesn't get too cold, then you should be okay.
Yeah, and I don't think it does because I've had it out there for like about 2 years now. And when I do go out in the winter time, everything that collects underneath the car melts off overnight. So it leaves the garage floor
wow.
messy.
Nice. Yeah,
So-
no, haven't.
And I got a freezer that has this little light at the bottom of it. And it shines green onto the garage floor.
Oh, so
to
it makes
show
it
you-
easier to walk? You don't miss it or?
No, it's for power outages, like during storms and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have to actually go out into the garage where the freezer is at. I just open the door and look, and if the green light's shining, I just shut the door back up and
Okay,
stay in where it's warm.
there you go. Yeah.
So it lets you know if, your freezer's not on.
Yeah, and if it's not on, then you don't want to open it.
No, and then I can check the breaker too and see if that's it. That's all that I need
That's
is
all it
for the
is.
breaker to be reset.
Yeah.
But
Huh.
it's pretty handy. They've come up with a lot of stuff from when I had the other freezer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just one of those things. Someday I'll get that, a sauna. I've been looking, I don't have a place to put a sauna. It's like one of those, maybe someday.
Yeah. I don't have a spot either. So, and I don't have a basement. So I can't stick it down there and
Oh, you don't have a basement?
no,
Huh. You don't get tornadoes?
not really.
Okay.
I have a crawl space, which I wish they would have just dug about 2 feet deeper, because then I'd be able to actually stand up and walk around in it.
Oh, there you go. You can lift your house up and then they can go underneath the big. Yeah, that would be the only reason I would really, I mean, I have a nice basement, but that would be a reason I'd make sure that I had a basement is for tornadoes. I know Judy grew up in Tennessee and she knows about tornadoes as well.
Yep. I've never had one here, not in our area. So
Yeah.
The area I grew up
I'm
in
glad
Tennessee is
too.
a lot. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I said, I'm glad that we don't. Every
Yeah.
time I see these disasters on the news, it just breaks my heart.
Yeah, it's, that's one of the reasons though, being prepared is important.
Mhm.
And so doing things, you know, you have your canning jars, and you can actually make some of these dishes, put them in your canning jars. And if you take a food saver, it sucks the air out of it, and you put your lid on, and you can put that in your freezer or however you want to store it. And so should you lose power, you still have some type of food you can use.
Yeah, I batch cook on days.
Okay,
No,
and that's
And
kind of
I
what,
put it in
talking
the,
about
I put in the
too.
jar and it's out in the freezer because I think of forever without power here from just from the storms that we have, you know, ice and snow and
Yeah,
stuff. I can take it out and it'll thaw out and it won't be like I got to heat it up, but at least it's cooked.
well, and you can get a fifth burner that some of them use propane. So like a
I
camp stove.
That, yeah.
Yeah, you could do something like that. And cook on that as well. So those are good. So there's lots of ways to be prepared. I don't know if it's still there. I had done a preparedness show with Rita Marie several years ago. I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years ago now. And we talked about different things you could do to be prepared.
Mhm.
And so having, like you said, the batch cooking all done ahead of time is really important. Maybe I'll do a show once and I'll dig my food saver out, and we'll actually do something with that.
Yeah, that'd be neat. Because
Yeah,
I share food with my daughter too, because she's got 4 kids.
yep,
And and it's getting more difficult with the, you know, the increase on the prices of food and
oh, I'm telling you, I was traveling. I don't know where I was driving to, but I was like, oh, I just want to go in and get a quick sandwich. They were like $5 for just a little measly sandwich. I'm like, what?
Mhm.
I'm paying for
And-
all fast.
I've seen more than that at our co-op now. Sandwiches are anywhere between $9 and $11.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
Well,
live in
this is-
northern Michigan, and so you got to pay those trucking fees to get that food
oh,
up here.
nobody's trucking now, right? They're all,
No, I don't think so.
they're
I
at the border.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I- I saw lots of bear spots at the grocery store, and
Yeah, me
um,
too.
there's a Facebook group called Overheard in Traverse City, and one lady had written on there, did anybody know where she could get some chicken nuggets for her kids? Because none of the grocery stores have chicken nuggets. And she even tried stores that were like 45 minutes away from us. She was gonna
Wow.
drive to go get chicken nuggets, but she apparently checked or called ahead or something, and they didn't have any either.
Oh, wow.
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 You know, and then some of the
Well,
trucks
we're definitely not that bad. I mean, you know, I didn't look for chicken nuggets when I was at the store, but I don't remember seeing that much.
yeah, I don't buy them, so, but I like to buy the Pacific broth, and they've been out of that for a while.
Well, that's interesting you mentioned broth. So I was telling Judy, so a day or so ago, I roasted a chicken,
Uh-huh.
and then I put it in my pot
Oh,
to,
so you got it
cook.
made up.
so I've got my broth. Here's my broth, my chicken broth. And so I'm also taking off all the chicken that I didn't get off from the first time I went around it. And these are just little things that we can do each time. You know, this week I made you talk about expensive, those, you can buy those frozen bean and cheese burritos. Those
Oh,
are, and besides which they have nasty stuff in it, but still, when you're looking for something quick and cheap. So for dinner, we made our own bean and cheese burritos and had all sorts of some good veggies and stuff to stick with it. But so I had cooked up about a pound of pinto beans. And so I just put them in 2-pound or 2-cup portions
mhm.
in baggies. Because I was out of, what do you call them? My jars. So, so I'm just doing this. And then this coming week, I might do something with my, my chicken. I am back again, full swing. I mean, I always did meal plans, but now I'm really full swing in meal plans. And so knowing I have this will make it easier for me to make a dish. Because these grandkids are 8 and 10, so they're prime age for being hungry little critters. And so, they were having beef on sale. So I bought some beef that I can put in my, some ground beef that I can put in my freezer. I already had some. That was, good organic beef that I got through Butcher Box. But we don't eat that much meat, so I stopped it. But yeah, Butcher Box, you can get fish and chicken and pork and bacon and beef, all sorts of stuff like that. And so I still have some of it left, but I thought, well, it's on sale. I might as well get some to stock up on. There's a sense of security, at least for me, that comes when I have these things and I have plans on how I can use them.
Mhm.
And so, like you said, the batch cooking, maybe that's just chopping up the vegetables ahead of time so that it just makes it easier.
I do that too. And when I buy lemons, because
Mhm.
I put lemon in my water and stuff every day,
Yep.
I just juice the whole bag and put it in a canning jar because it's so much easier to just take out a tablespoon or two and throw it in my glass than
Exactly.
to always be having to, squeeze it or try to do something with it.
Yep, exactly. Lucky Judy there grows them.
Oh,
I have a-
nice.
I have a lemon tree in my little tiny condo backyard, yes.
Oh, neat. I'm gonna
Yes.
try to grow kale this year because I eat a lot of kale. I like it in juice and I add it to like my lentil soups and stuff like that. And so, and it's not the season for it right now.
No, I say I'm growing snow, snow and
Yeah.
ice.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what we got, the same thing going on here.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's cold, cold, cold here. And so that's why making things like soups and stews are really helpful.
Yeah.
I was going to make, and I was kicking myself because I used to grow the basil and it just, I ran out of it and I just never got any more. And so I went to the store to get some basil because I wanted to make a batch of pesto, because pesto is one of those things you can freeze as well.
Yeah.
And because I'm trying not to eat as many tomatoes, when I did my Viome test, they found a tomato virus. It's a virus on the tomato plant, but it's one of the few plant viruses that can cross over and create inflammation. And it showed up in my last stool test. So, I thought, well, if I get some pesto made, that will be one less thing I have to think about. And it freezes. So, but they didn't have any basil. I was like, what? How can you do that to me?
I know. I'm finding more of those things are getting a little more difficult to get right now.
Well, I just need
And
to get
I bought
some
seeds.
basil plants.
I was gonna try gardening this past summer, but then I fell and broke my shoulder. So
Oh,
it took that fracture 3 months to heal. And then I went to therapy and I still can't reach behind me. My doctor said that recovery from the break that I had will be at least 1 year and sometimes 18 months.
wow.
I
Wow.
said, I thought you broke a bone or something, it healed up in 6 weeks and you went along your way. And he said, oh, not the story with shoulder, sorry.
Yeah. Are you using your horsetail?
Yeah,
Okay.
I got horsetail and I got D3 and nettles and
Dandelion, alfalfa.
yeah.
Yep. All those good bone
Yeah.
things.
All the things the regular doctors just think you're nuts.
I'm
So,
used to that.
yeah,
Yeah. But you don't have to stabilize it or anything, right?
not anymore.
Okay.
I did until the fracture healed because it was only slightly displaced, so they didn't do a surgery. And looking back, I'm thinking I just wish they would have done the surgery because I would have had a screw or something holding it and I'd maybe be further along. But it was really hard to get that arm going after being immobilized until the fracture healed.
Well, I'm glad that you're healing and,
Yeah.
And a good bone broth could be helpful as well.
Yeah.
Some collagen boosting herbs could be helpful.
I bought some protein with collagen.
Okay. Because our body makes collagen. And so, anything we can do to boost that is helpful. So some of those herbs will help with that. So keep up with that. That will be helpful.
What do you use, Lynn, for tortilla shells?
So I might make my own, like with
okay.
almond flour or something. They have the coconut ones you can buy.
I found some that I really liked and they're made with almond flour. They're made by Siete.
I was going to say Siete is a good brand. Just look at the ingredients to make sure, especially the cassava ones. And see
I do the almond flour.
Okay. So yeah, you should be okay with the almond flour. It's the cassava ones that sometimes people have an issue with. Not everybody does.
Okay.
But yeah, otherwise it's actually pretty easy to make your own.
I will have to look for a recipe for those then because you only get, I think 6 or 8 tortillas in a package and they just went up to $10.99, so they're $11 now for a package of
Holy Toledo.
So I thought I'd ask you what you used and maybe it would be,
Yeah.
a little easier price wise.
Yeah. I generally make my own when I make them. let's see, what do I
I
have
could
in there?
Yeah, I could make them and freeze them.
Yep, definitely. I'm just finishing up here.
But that's
With-
a lot of money for tortillas, especially
Yes,
if I have the kids over, because one of the
Yeah.
boys is 21 and the other one's 13 and he's on the basketball team and they can need a package of those themselves, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, holy cow.
yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm telling them now, everybody's allowed to, and we're having, you know, veggies or a salad or something else, you know, to go with it.
Now, these aren't the best, because it does use other things, but these are cauliflower ones. So this
Okay.
is what I have in my area. So, you know, you do what you can. And then this is sprouted grains.
Oh, and who makes that? Oh, Angelique?
Angelic
Okay.
Bakehouse, yep.
Hmm.
From Cudahy, Wisconsin.
Okay.
So,
I'll have
yeah.
to look for those as an option.
So if you can also probably make your own cauliflower.
Yeah, because I have a food processor, so I can get it chopped up pretty fine.
Yeah, you know, I wonder, you could do the cauliflower, maybe some zucchini, you know, and you just mix in a little bit of the flour in with it. And
So would you still use almond flour?
you could still use almond flour.
Okay.
Yep, make like a dough out of it. And you can put it either in your dehydrator or just on a dry pan. Kind of dry fry it.
Yeah. I use my dehydrator a lot because I make a lot of the recipes out of dried and gone to heaven.
Well, yeah, I use the dehydrator more this time of year than I do in the summertime. So I'm gonna put
Yeah.
some of my broth in here. Broth is actually a superfood for me, the chicken broth with my Biome Foods, from my test results. And
Add
it's,
like celery or carrots or onion, or do you do just only the broth?
well, I made the broth after I roasted my chicken. I cooked up the carcass in the water with the onions and carrots and
Right.
stuff like that. I'm actually not eating celery a whole lot right now because of the nitrates, excuse me. And they're having an adverse effect on me. So I got that here. I have these really nice
Oh,
lids.
the lids. Those won't rust.
Yeah, exactly. And so then I usually keep one or two of these in the refrigerator. And if there's enough, then I'll put them in my freezer. But I don't think I'll have enough right now, but I'll be doing
So do
some
you
more.
cook with it or drink it?
I usually just cook with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like a soup or something.
Mhm.
And so if I make a soup or something like that and it's really brothy, then I'll mix in my miso in with that right at the very end to get some,
Oh, so it's thicker?
no, because miso is a fermented product, a soy
Right.
fermented, but this is actually made with chickpeas. And so it gives you some more probiotic action. But you have to
Oh.
do it at the very end
Okay.
because you don't want to heat it, because then that will destroy the organisms. So it's like I pour myself a bowl of soup or I usually put it in a mug. And then I'll take a teaspoon of this and plop that in. And that it just kind of ramps up the nutrition because you're feeding some good organisms in your gut.
Yeah, and we all need that.
We all need that. And so fermented foods are great for that. What was I going to say? Oh, so I have issues with protein absorption. And so that's why chicken broth is easier for me to absorb protein than even beef broth, like beef bone broth. You could also do the same thing with fish broth. So if you go to the butcher and they have fish, you can ask them. Sometimes they'll just give it to you, fish bones. Asian markets also really big on fish bones because they make a lot of fish broth. And you just do the same thing. You cook it up, usually with the fish broth, because the bones are so small. I will put it like in a mesh bag so that it keeps in there.
Like a milk bag?
Like a nut milk bag, exactly.
Okay.
And then just have that in the water with what, so with fish broth, I tend to use things like leeks and ginger and carrots and stuff like that, and make a broth that way. And that's also really, really helpful. They're all good ways to get good protein, absorbable protein in your body. And protein, everybody has different protein needs, but it's also, protein's really good for your metabolism. It's good for wound healing. So for you, Rose, that would be helpful for your bones as well.
Yeah. The other issue I'm having is that as of the 3rd of January, it's been 1 year that I'm internally bleeding. And they've not found the
Still?
bleed.
I
Yeah.
remember when you had that going on. You're still doing that?
I'm still getting iron and stuff because if I don't, then my hemoglobin goes down. When it dropped to 6, I had to get 2 blood transfusions.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
I've
they don't
had-
know where it's coming from?
nope. And just before Christmas, I started actively bleeding. And so I called, but I had to wait. I had to wait a few weeks to have another EGD and a colonoscopy done. And by the time I got in there wasn't any
Yeah,
actual
of course.
sorry.
Wow.
So, and I swallowed a capsule with the camera and we're a machine, and they still have not found it. But I can tell when it's going down. I take 8 iron capsules a day and I'm still not keeping my iron.
Yeah,
So-
something sounds off there. Yeah, something sounds off there. Because iron is so
'cause
important.
the iron goes down, the ferritin goes down,
Yeah,
the
Not
IV
even storing it.
saturation, everything. It goes up really nice after I've had 1,500 units, but then, a few months later, it's gone down.
Yeah, but to not know why, get.
Well,
We
I
brought
had
our- we
planned
brought our
this summer to
in
see
for
if
the
I could
winter.
go to Mayo Clinic, but because I've been there before. But when I was there before, I was still working. I wasn't on Medicare because I've gotten denied lots of stuff. They sent me home from a nursing home and I couldn't toilet yet by myself.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, and they told me that I came home on a Saturday and they said Monday somebody would be calling me and I'd have a home health aide and all this stuff. And I called them because nobody contacted me, and I waited till Thursday because nobody contacted me. So I called my primary care doctor and said, this is what's going on. And so they called the nursing home. And the nursing home told them that my insurance company said that I wasn't eligible, that I don't require assistance.
Your insurance company told them that, huh?
Yeah, so I'm in a immobilizer on one side and I hurt my ankle in that fall. So on the other side, I was using a quad cane. So I could get to the stove and cook, but I didn't have a hand to carry a plate. So I had to stand at the stove and eat.
No.
And every time I had a bowel movement, I had to call my daughter and sit and wait for her to come because there was no helper coming.
Wow.
So, and I got denied a shower chair and this thing to go on the toilet that had, you know, like little arms on it, you know, so I could use myself, you know, help myself get up. Because what I was doing was because I broke my left shoulder, I was pushing my arm on the wall on the right hand side to get up. And they sent a therapist to my house and the therapist said, that's not safe for you. And I said, I know, but they've denied everything for me so far. So
you're appealing those though, right?
I don't need them now. I mean, I can get up now, but